Well, we have a winner from the t-shirt. In Amsterdam, its postal code 1012GS are the most doves on the dam. Less doves in the other more quiet Dutch places. And there are no penguins in the Netherlands, aside from the zoo. And this is Aqua Zoo. So, best Bianca. So Bianca, there is a shirt going on to you. But
thank you.
there you are. I'll mail you for the address and the size you have to have. And is anybody else who wants the t-shirt, I can give the website address. Go to datasupport@nhlstenden.com. Well, that was the intermezzo. Now we're talking serious business. Again, I'm always serious, sorry. Where are we going? The access procedure, this was the break. Interoperability. Interoperability. It's the most difficult part in the fair data business. It's about open formats. It's about relevant standards. It's about vocabularies, thesaurus, ontologies, and reference links. Now, the reference links we had already. Yeah? If this link is related to that, this data set is related to the article. So we know already that. So that we don't have to discuss, but the other ones we have to discuss. So, formats. Oh, I hear from my colleagues my screen is not shared. So, well, let's share the slides from current slides. This is what I wanted to tell you. It's about open formats. It's about relevant standards. It's about thesaurus and ontology. And it's about references and links. Now, the links I already told you. It's from, if there are multiple data sets involved, you can have that link. If there are multiple articles involved, you can have also that link. You put also the link together then. Open formats. What are open formats? Well, we'll put some kinds of formats in the chat. It's Microsoft Word, RTF, PDF, and ODT. And I will ask you which format will be preferred for text documents. If you think, well, I think that would be preferred, you can slide over with the cursor over the answers. And if you think, well, that's a correct answer, you give it a thumbs up. And when you're thinking about the answers, think about changes over time. Because when I grew up, WordPerfect was the text document format. And I couldn't believe there should be another time. So think about that before you give your answers. I see already thumbs up. And everybody, well, almost everybody has signed for PDF or ODT. And if you see what Dan's, our CESDA database said, preferred formats is PDF and ODT because these are open formats. Microsoft Word is from a company named Microsoft. And if Microsoft thinks, well, I want to change something, then we don't have no way. We have to get to the documents. In the old days, video recording, don't you know the Betamax and the VHS recordings? It's, well, I'm a dinosaur, I know it. And that time I thought, well, that's the only way we can have videos. Now it's completely different. It's because, and that's why we use preferred formats. So the data you have has the most likely way to persist over time. And Microsoft Word is from a company, so they will change. Office Open XML, yeah, open is nice, but Office, it's also from a company. Rich text files is not plain text. And PDF, it's an open format. Everybody can use it. ODT is also an open format. Everybody can use it. Well, I hope I explained it as well. And I hope everybody can get this question right. Which format will be preferred for spreadsheets? Is it Excel? Is it Office Open? Well, I thought already something about Office Open. PDF, ODS, or CSV? Ali is doing her best very well at this moment. She's sweating, she says, but she has all the different kinds of formats. CSV. Yes, I see. CSV is very, very I will show you what Dance will say about it. They have preferred formats and non-preferred formats for almost everything. And it's about ODS and CSV. I can think about someone who says PDF was for text documents good. Why is it not good? Because it's about the columns and the rows. In PDF, there are no columns and rows, so they're going to be mixed up. And ODS and CSV has the good formats. So if you want to contribute the data at your data set, look for the right formats. And you can also ask a data steward, an IT manager, or persons in your organization to have the right formats and formatted for you. So ask for them. That's about formats. Then we have another, metadata and relevant standards. Well, don't you know? Yeah, you do know the bird counting, and we have already said there should be a title, there should be a format, there should be an author, there should be a year, there should be all kinds of things. Well, Dublin Core is a metadata standard. It's one of the standards we all know, and you see the things we did already say, it's in the Dublin Core mentioned. It's about a standard because first the title comes, then the creator comes. So it's all standardized in a very logical way. And also the data set we saw at Dance was also a data set according to the Dublin Core. So this is a kind of metadata standard. Dublin Core is the most width standard. There are also domain-specific standards and other standards, but this is an example for it. And We have something about controlled vocabularies, keywords, thesaurus, and ontologies. Well, that's also librarian stuff. But let me first show you why there are there's something about control. Do you know how many words do you know for dog? Well, I think the native speaking English, the English native speaking English native, no, I don't know. But the persons who are brought up with English know many more names for dog than we do. But this is something about dog. If you say doggy, you should know it's also a dog. If you say hound, it's also a dog. Well, if you people do have to know that if you mean hound, that you mean dog. That is what thesauri are for. They say dog is also hound, dog is also mutt, dog is also puppy, etc. Now the other way around. Plant. Make a picture in your head of a plant. Is it something like this? Or is it something like this? When I talk about a plant, an agree plant, yeah, you can also go to, I think about a flowerish plant, but you can also paint the building in green and you have also a green plant. So it's for confusing, it's good to know about which plant you speak. The same with fair data. Open data is not the same as fair data. So when some people speak about open data, they mean fair data. When some people speak about fair data, they mean open data. So you have to have your definition right before you can speak to each other. So this is why thesauri are mentioned. Then you have also other things. Ontology. Let's talk about wine. It's how late is it? 4 o'clock? Well, not exactly time to begin with wine, but let's continue. Ontology is about relationships. You see wine completely above. Then you see red wine and dry wine on the left. Then you see between their dry red wine. It's a relationship between the red wine and the dry wine. It's not a hierarchical hierarchy. Yes, hierarchy. In this, it's about relationships. You see all kinds of relationships between them, and it looks like a chaos, but someone has thought about it. So that's an ontology. What you also have is a controlled vocabulary thesaurus. The National Library of Medicine has something, and I don't know, for the health people among you, PubMed will be something you know. And here are the dogs again. Entry terms, dog and the canis familiaris, it's Latin. And then you see all kind of hierarchy, mammals. Yeah, if you choose mammals, there you have all kind of dogs. And I will show you the meshes, the searching word for cat. These are all entry terms for cats. I hope you can see it. I can make my screen more available. These are cats. If you go to here, the Velidae is all kind of cats, but now you have also the lynx, the panthers, the tigers and the lions according to it. You see? So it's hierarchical. If you go to the tigers, you see that a tiger is a tiger. And tigers is the family of panthers, and then you have the mammals again. So this is a kind of controlled vocabulary. It's hierarchy. I'll have to practice this word. Well, so that's about the ontologies, thesaurus, and that kind of stuff. And it's very domain specific, as you can see. There's also another thing, standardization in measurement units, variables. If you put your data set in temperature, what for measurement units you would use? I hear about Celsius here, but you can also Fahrenheit or Kelvin or whatever. You see the problem when I put two data sets together and one has Celsius and the other one has Fahrenheit. Well, it can be high in temperature then if you go to Celsius. So you see the problems, huh? So put the same measurement unit that is standardized for your domain specific research. Another one, length. Meters, inches, feet. Well, it's also the same problem. Another one, wind speed. How do you think you can? Well, not
You're sailing.
of course, but also meters per second. Also, it's possible. So go for it's about standardization, and you see what a method can be if there are several other measurement units used. Another one with measurement. It's about raw data is preferred. If you can see your biomass index, the BMI, especially for me, it's a trauma, but what is BMI? It's kilograms divided in length, and now I have to multiply in length in meters. If I put only the BMI index in my data, in my analyst data, people don't know what the length was from the persons I measured. They don't even know what the kilograms were. So raw data will be preferred about data who is already put together. Same here, square meter. I can say something is 9 square meter or 8 square meter, but I don't know if the length is 2 or the length is 4 or the length was under half meter, 1.5 meter. I don't know. So let's speak about let's promise that we always prefer the raw data above data who is already analyzed. And of course, there are situations where it's not possible because of privacy. Then you have, of course, other ways around. So that was interoperability. Has anybody questions about interoperability? I don't see hands, I don't see chats, so I think we can go further to reusability. It's the last R. It's the last in the fair, so we are almost there. Reusability. It's about good data interpretation and also about licenses. Your data are accurate and well described. There is a CC license. Finland already talked about the Creative Commons license, wasn't it? Or was it yesterday? It was yesterday. Okay, well, then we have to have a little more attention to it. It is clear how, why, and whom the data has created. That's also about metadata. And data and metadata meet relevant domain standards. Now, we have already something said about data standards, so we don't continue to say that anymore. Let's talk about licenses. When you want to have access to someone's data and you will say, well, I'm really in for research. May I have your data set? Then you have to say why you will use, what you will use, the context of your work, now, etc., etc. You can read it for yourself, I think. So it's a lot of problems, and that's why they found out something about Creative Commons. And now I have to put up my slides again because I didn't say to the computer that I include sounds. So we're going back to my presentation. Going back to the presentation and say this video. The people who already joined our meeting yesterday have about 1 minute 30 to do something else, and the rest is welcome to join the video. Oh, I hear there is no sound, and that's not what we want to have.
Creative Commons licenses use icons.
Try it again.
This video
And
will introduce.
I will ask Jelly to put her sound on so we can hear if there's sound.
You to Creative Commons licenses, which make copyright easier to understand. Let's say you create something. This thing could be creative, like a picture of your cat, or scholarly, like an essay about cats. Because you are the creator of this picture or essay, copyright allows you to decide what people can do with your creation. When you are the copyright holder, people have to ask you for permission before putting your cat picture into a PowerPoint or adapting your cat essay into a movie. Getting permission can be time-consuming and complicated for both the creator and the user. This is where Creative Commons can help. Creative Commons exists to make permissions explicit and straightforward. Creative Commons licenses use icons and simple language so that creators can make their intentions clear and users can be certain that their use of a work is legal. These different licenses help people understand if and how they can use, share, or build on a work. This icon means that only non-commercial uses are permitted, so no one can profit from using your picture. This icon means that no one can make changes to the original work, such as photoshopping a dog into your cat picture. This icon means that someone can change your work, but their version must be shared under the same license as yours. All Creative Commons licenses give credit to the original creator, preserving your reputation as a creative genius while the world engages with your work. Licenses can be attached to most things, including blog posts, images, artworks, journal articles, and more. To learn more about Creative Commons licenses, visit the Creative Commons website.
So, that was something about Creative Commons. Well, if you want to...
This video...
Oh, stop. If you want to choose the right license, Ali will put a choose a license tool into the chat, and you can see which license you want to have for your data. What you can see is there are two kinds of formats you have to deposit, software or data. And if you choose software, it's also okay. You see there are much more different kind of licenses than for data. So try data, and if you have time, try the software too. So that's one easy way to have your licenses chosen. I will start sharing my presentation again. Whoa, where am I? This was not this was not what I had in mind. There I am. Share. Yes, there we are again. So we had open formats, plans. Again. The data is accurate and well described with relevant attributes. Now we're getting somewhere, because some data have a codebook. All of the things we shared with each other about when was it performed, under which conditions the data was found, all this kind of stuff you can see again in a README file. And this is an example of a README file. You can see the author information, you can see the data collection, you can see sharing and access information, all about the data files, methodology, someone said it already in the text, file names, which variables you did, what the number of cases and rows were, etc., etc. So, well, I don't want to learn it by heart, but I really like to know you can use it. And that's why we want to discuss the data set. I will put you in breakout rooms and take a look at this data set. It's in the chat, will it be linked? But please copy paste it in a Word document or somewhere else, because in the breakout rooms you can't go to the chat anymore. So please copy it and see if the README file contains all the information is needed, and if the data files are shared in a preferred format.